Ooh, just in time for sunset. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be talking about and sharing with you how I prepared what I like to call a gut healing elixir, but what is commonly known as a bone broth. So if you'd like to see how I did that, please continue watching. So bone broth isn't a new development. It isn't some new fad that everyone's drinking, kind of like celery juice. It's actually been around for years, and I'm just really late to the game here. You know, and I've heard about how great it is to have while you're on a candida cleanse because it can actually help improve your gut lining. So that's what kind of prompted me to take notice and actually go about making my own. Before I get into how I did all of that, I just kind of want to go back a little bit and talk about why bone broth is so great to drink in the first place. So for those that don't know, bone broth has a lot of great benefits. It goes beyond just being able to heal your gut lining. It can do things such as help improve your mood, improve your energy, and the collagen helps with growing, you know, your teeth, your skin, your bones, your hair. But for this video, I want to talk about and sort of concentrate on the gut healing benefits of bone broth. So there are a lot of nutrients, calcium, vitamins that are part of bone broth, but one of the great things about it is that it has a lot of amino acids, and one of them is glutamine, and that's the one that is able to help us repair our gut lining. So that's what made me want to jump on this and start to actually incorporate it into my own candida cleanse. So I want to talk through my process of, you know, how I even got to this point. So I was at a local farmer's market, and I had asked one of the farmers if she had any grass-fed cow bones, which she did. So I purchased a few, and I went on to prepare it. So the way I made my bone broth is I actually roasted it first. Since they were frozen when I bought it, I made sure to thaw out the bones first, and then once they were thawed out, I threw them in the oven and I roasted it for approximately 30 minutes. And I did this because I wanted to get more of the nutrients, more flavor from the bones. Once that was done, I prepared my pot of water. So the way that I prepared my bone broth was I had it on a low simmer on the stovetop, and I cooked my bones for about maybe 12 to 14 hours. Now typically when you make bone broth, it could be as short as 4 hours in a pressure cooker, or it can be as long as 24 hours in a slow cooker. It's up to you. I would say at least give it at least a good day. It depends on what you use. If you use a pressure cooker, you don't need a full day, but if you have any other methods of cooking your bone broth, you may want to leave it for 12 to 24 hours. It really just depends on you and how much of the nutrients you want to derive from those bones. For me, I knew that I wanted to eat it or drink it the next day at least, but I wanted to give it a full day. So nonetheless, I got a pot, filled it with water, and before the water boiled up, I went ahead and I put in the roasted bones. I didn't really cut off any of the fat. I kind of just left everything on, and I just put it straight into the pot. So once that boiled, and which took about maybe 30 minutes to start boiling, I went ahead and cut half of a white onion, and I used 5 garlic cloves. I really love garlic, so I want to give that a lot of flavor in there. And I also used a handful of thyme. What you'll notice though is once the water starts to boil with your bone broth, that you'll see a lot of the fat kind of come to the surface. So you can take that as your opportunity to either skim off some of the fat there. But in my case, I left it in, and I just went ahead and added the onion, thyme, and the garlic to the pot. And then I lowered the heat to a low simmer. And that's where I went about my day. I did everything I needed to do in the day, and I would check on the pot periodically. After about 12 hours of my bones being simmered in the water, I could see that the broth now has gotten some color, really nice, rich, sort of brownish color to it. I used a strainer to remove the contents of the bone, the meat, and the onion, the thyme, whatever was left from the pot, because all I wanted to drink is obviously just the broth itself, no meat. Now this is an opportunity to even eat the meat. You can eat it at this point because it is so tender and it just falls off the bone, so it's really great. So once I strained all of the contents of the pot, with the leftover broth, I poured it into 2 mason jars. So the amount of water that I used was enough to put it in and to fill at least 2 mason jars. once I did that, I just put it in the fridge. If you, like, I put it in the fridge because I knew that I wanted to drink it at least every day of the week. But if you know that you've made a lot and you can last a little bit longer than that, then feel free to put it in the freezer. What you'll notice is when you pour it in the mason jar, there is going to be a thin layer of fat. So what you can do is you can decide to leave that fat in there, or you can skim it off. I left my fat in there because it's up to me whether I want to drink some of my bone broth with the fat or without. So I decided to not to leave anything out, but later on as I drink it throughout the week, I'd kind of skim off the fat because I just don't like drinking a lot of fat. And that's pretty much how I made my bone broth. I didn't use any vinegar, apple cider vinegar, with my bone broth, and I know that that is also a key ingredient that people typically use, and that also helps extract more of the nutrients from the bone. The reason why I didn't use any is because I'm highly intolerant to any vinegars, white vinegars, and apple cider vinegars I have moderate intolerance to, but I just decided to just avoid it altogether. Plus I don't really like the taste of vinegar, so I just decided to skip it. My bone broth came out really gelatinous and really nice and filling and rich, and slowly simmering it, adding on the thyme, the onions, and the garlic really helped give it a lot of flavor, as well as roasting the bones in the first place. So that's pretty much how I'm going to be preparing my bone broth from now on, and it tasted great. I want to go on to continue make more. I heard that mixing the bones is also a really great thing to do as well in this process, so I'm still new to it, but I did want to stop in and share, you know, how I prepared mine and how you can go on to prepare yours. I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Bye.